Before the universe began, before the stars, the earth, and even time itself, there was a great secret, a secret of light. Many spiritual traditions speak about a divine light that existed before creation, a light connected to the message and mercy sent to humanity. In this video, we will explore a deep spiritual question. What was the secret before creation? Let us begin this journey together and discover the light behind existence.
So I want you to try and imagine a moment before time, like before space, or even the sudden explosive violence of a Big Bang.
Oh yeah, like absolute boundless nothingness. Not even an empty void, just the creator.
Exactly, just the creator. And if you go up to a physicist and ask, how do we get from that total nothingness to our reality, they'll give you this very mechanical timeline: expanded gases, cooling matter.
Right, a very scientific blueprint.
Yeah. And even if you ask a traditional theologian, they might describe a booming voice in the dark issuing a command, and then suddenly, boom, there's light.
It's very architectural, like cause and effect. God speaks and the universe is built.
Precisely. It's like an architect drawing a blueprint and building a house.
Oh.
But today on this deep dive, we are stepping into a cosmic origin story that completely shatters that mechanical framework.
It really does.
Yeah.
Because we're looking at a universe that wasn't built like a machine at all. It was born out of a single blinding reflection of pure love.
Which is just a breathtaking concept.
Hmm.
And to explore this, we're pulling from this really intricate, deeply esoteric exposition from a channel called Dustin Urdu.
Yeah, and they do a fascinating job detailing this deeply spiritual, mystical framework of Islamic theology, specifically Shia Islamic theology.
Right, and I want to be really clear right up front. As we guide you through this, our goal here is to impartially uncover the philosophical depth of these ideas.
Exactly. We aren't here to debate religious doctrines or take sides or endorse specific theological views. We're just here to act as your guides through this incredible source material.
Because it really is like opening a treasure chest of hidden truths.
Yeah.
It upends how we define reality, gravity, and even human history.
It completely shifts the paradigm.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because if you are listening to this and wondering, how does a universe begin without a blueprint? We have to travel back to that time before time.
Right, before anything physical existed.
Because in traditional Islamic theology, creation usually begins with a single word, right? The command kun, which means be.
The creator says be, and existence happens.
Yeah, but the Dastan Urdu text challenges that as the absolute beginning. It suggests something profound happened before that command was ever given.
And this is where your mind really has to stretch. Because the source posits that in this pre-eternal state, before angels, before the earth, God basically observed his own essence.
He saw himself.
Exactly. And from that infinite, divine self-reflection, a pure light was generated. The Arabic term they use for this is Noor.
So think of it like looking into a flawless, infinite mirror. If a brilliant, blinding light looks into a perfect mirror, the reflection that bounces back isn't a new object being constructed with bricks and mortar.
No, it's an emanation. It's an exact expression of the original light.
Right. The universe wasn't born out of a desire to just manufacture objects in a cold void.
What's fascinating here is that it was born out of spiritual recognition, out of love or marifat. And the text points out something incredibly specific about this first light.
What's that?
It wasn't just a generic pool of energy. It was specifically the light of Prophet Muhammad. The text cites this sacred Hadith Qudsi where God speaks directly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and God says, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't have created the universe.
I mean, think about how radically that shifts your entire understanding of reality.
It changes everything.
The root of all existence isn't gravity. It isn't string theory or a mechanical command. It is divine love. The universe was literally willed into existence because the Creator recognized his own beauty, loved it, and that love manifested as this primary light.
It takes the universe from being this cold, empty vacuum to a space literally born out of love.
But I mean, that presents a massive philosophical hurdle, doesn't it?
Yeah, so.
Well, if existence started as one unified, perfectly pure light of divine love, how did we end up with such a messy, fragmented, complex world?
Ah, right. How does perfect unity become the diverse reality you and I experience?
Yeah, because the world we live in isn't just one pure note. It's a symphony of different necessities. We need justice, we need mercy, we need patience. How do those emerge from one single beam of light?
The source explains this through the descent of light, dividing into divine attributes. Within that initial Noor, God saw his own divine traits.
Like his mercy and knowledge.
Exactly. His mercy, his power, his justice. And to manifest those traits in a way humanity could interact with, that singular light had to divide.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
It takes human form, right? Manifesting as the Al-Bayt, the family of the Prophet, and the subsequent 12 Imams.
Okay, so think of a prism. If you take a beam of pure, blinding white light and shine it directly into someone's eyes, it's too intense. Humanity just can't process it.
It would be totally overwhelming.
Right, so these figures act as a spiritual prism. They take that singular divine light and refract it. They break it apart into a spectrum of necessary cosmic colors.
The colors of patience, justice, mercy. And the text is very explicit about which figures embody which colors of this spectrum.
So how does it break them down?
Well, the light of Ali, for instance, represents divine knowledge, bravery, and wilayat.
Wilayat.
Yeah, it translates roughly to spiritual guardianship or authority. It's the protective, guiding force of the universe.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then the light of Fatima represents pure divine mercy, extreme purity, and profound peace.
So you can see the balance forming right there.
Okay.
You have the ultimate bravery and authority in Ali, perfectly counterweighted by the nurturing mercy of Fatima. You really need both to hold the universe together.
Exactly. Without authority, you have chaos. Without mercy, you have tyranny.
And the lineage continues dividing like this.
It does. From their light came Hassan, representing deep divine knowledge and forbearance. And then came Hussein, who represents the ultimate sacrifice.
I want to pause on that for a second.
Sure.
Why is sacrifice considered a foundational color of this cosmic prism?
It's a heavy concept.
Right. Because we usually think of sacrifice as an unfortunate event, like
Yeah.
something bad that happens in history. But this framework suggests sacrifice is actually a structural necessity for the universe.
It's a brilliant point from the text. If a universe is built entirely on divine love, it eventually requires the ultimate demonstration of that love to maintain its integrity.
Because of human ego and corruption.
Precisely. When tyranny threatens to extinguish that original light, the universe requires a manifestation of pure, selfless sacrifice to restore the balance.
So Hussein's sacrifice isn't just a historical tragedy in this view. It's a cosmic necessity that kept the light pure.
It anchored the universe against complete spiritual collapse. And this completely changes how you view history.
Yeah, it's not just a timeline of political leaders succeeding one another. You are watching divine attributes take physical form to guide humanity.
Right down the line, you have Imam Sadiq as the manifestation of truth, Imam Kazim as patience, all the way to the 12th Imam, Imam Mahdi, representing divine justice.
So we understand who they represent spiritually. But we have to talk about what they actually do. Because understanding their attributes is only half of it.
Right, we have to look at their functional role in the universe today, the concept of imamat.
Because normally when you hear imam, you think of a community leader, right? Someone leading a congregation.
But in this mystical framework, imat is a vital, structural pillar of reality itself. The text calls the imam the hujjat, the proof of God on earth.
And the metaphors they use for this are massive. Like the imam is described as the sun holding the entire solar system together.
Or the literal heartbeat of the earth. The text states that if the earth ever lacked this divine proof, it would literally be destroyed.
Its balance would just shatter.
The rotation of the planet, the flow of time, the survival of physical existence depends on this spiritual presence. They quote a famous saying, "I am the city of knowledge and Ali is its gate."
So what does this all mean for us? I mean, if the universe is literally anchored by the heartbeat of an imam, what does that mean for human free will?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah. Are we all just living inside this preordained spiritual clockwork where our choices don't actually matter?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the source text resolves this tension beautifully. It separates the survival of the cosmos from the spiritual survival of the individual.
Okay, how so?
The imam maintains the balance so that existence can continue. He is the gravity keeping the stage from collapsing. But the play that happens on that stage, the choices you make, that's up to you.
So the imam holds the walls of the house up, but you still have to decide how you're going to furnish your room.
Exactly. The door is there. The gate is structurally necessary, but a gate doesn't force you to walk through it.
You have to choose to connect to that light. The physical survival of the universe depends on the Imam, but your spiritual survival depends on your choices.
Precisely.
Okay, but this brings up an immediate logical paradox.
Yeah.
And the text does address this, but it's a big one.
You're talking about the occultation.
Yes. If the 12th Imam, Imam Mahdi, is the current axis of the world, the heartbeat, but he is in Gaiba, meaning he is hidden, how does the world keep spinning?
It's the ultimate paradox.
And practically speaking, how do people find guidance if their definitive guide is out of sight?
Dastan Urdu provides this incredibly beautiful, simple metaphor for this. The profound mechanics of unseen grace.
The sun behind the clouds.
Right. The hidden imam is like the sun hidden behind thick clouds. Even if you can't see the sun directly, its gravity is still holding the Earth in orbit.
If that hidden sun vanished, the Earth would just freeze and fly off into space.
Exactly. And even on a cloudy day, the warmth and the light still seep through. It keeps everything alive.
And the text says that when oppression reaches its absolute peak, he will step out from behind the clouds to fill the earth with justice.
He will reverse that global tide of tyranny.
But think about how that shifts the paradigm of faith for someone listening right now. It's relatively easy to follow a guide who is standing right in front of you, giving orders.
You just have to obey.
Right. But it requires an entirely different, much deeper spiritual muscle to draw warmth from a sun you know is there, even when your sky looks entirely dark.
It takes immense spiritual maturity, which brings us to what you're actually supposed to do right now. How do we access that hidden warmth?
Because the word waiting implies just sitting around, like waiting for a bus.
But the text stresses that the time of occultation is a profound spiritual test. Waiting for the zuhur, the reappearance, is not a passive activity at all.
It's a requirement for intense inner purification.
Exactly. The hidden imam is near our heartbeats, and his prayers sustain the believers. The reappearance isn't just a historical event, it's the moment the inner eye opens.
So believers have to actively cleanse their souls from base desires just to feel this subtle light.
You have to do the inner work.
It's not like sitting at a bus stop. It's much more like tuning a radio.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Right. The divine frequency of the Imam is already broadcasting. But your soul is full of static. The static of your ego, of modern distractions. You have to do the hard work of clearing the static in your own soul to hear the music.
And that is the ultimate message of the text. True spiritual alignment starts from within. The connection isn't lost in the modern age. It just requires quiet, deliberate inner work to perceive it.
It really is a breathtaking arc we've traveled today. I mean, starting from that first spark of divine love before time existed.
And watching it refract through the prism of the imams.
Yeah, landing finally on this silent, inner spiritual work required today to connect with that hidden sun.
It's a beautiful way to view the world.
It really is. And I want to remind you, the listener, why this matters. Even if this isn't your personal theological background, this deep dive offers a way to see the world not as a random collection of rocks in space, but as a tapestry sustained by love, justice, and spiritual light.
It gives meaning to the chaos.
Absolutely. And I want to end with a quiet, lingering thought for you to explore on your own.
Let's hear it.
If the fabric of reality is held together by this unbroken chain of divine attributes, if the universe literally breathes through mercy, patience, and justice, then what happens when you act with pure kindness or courage?
That's a powerful question.
Because perhaps in those small, quiet moments of human goodness, you aren't just doing a nice deed. You are momentarily becoming part of that very cosmic heartbeat. You are reflecting that original light that existed before the universe was even told to be.
A profound thought to carry with you.
So take some time today to contemplate the light within yourself. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
And so, this is the secret many hearts have searched for. A light before creation. A light that reminds us where everything began. But the most important question is not only to know this secret. The real question is, what will we do with this knowledge? Will it bring us closer to truth, closer to goodness, and closer to God? Take a moment, reflect on it in your heart. And if this message touched your soul, write Amen in the comments. Thank you for being part of this journey. And remember, sometimes the greatest truths are hidden in the light.